stick to it. But hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. Have you all been keeping up with the Raw History podcast series? Hey, Nathan. Thank you for inviting your fans. So, what is on the topic for today, you may ask? Well, hey, Ricky, how are you? Thank you for joining. So, today's topic really, first of all, I don't need this. I'm going to take this off because it's unnecessary. Hopefully, you guys were able to tune in. I had the one, the only Natanya Ross from TV shows like Are You? No. Alex Max, Saved by the Bell, 90210, Boy Meets World. That was last week, Wednesday, and it was so amazing to be able to connect to someone that I looked up to growing up, and also someone who is very open and allows certain people in to her substance abuse, the past that she had with substance abuse, mainly being alcohol. And if you have not yet checked that, if you, oh my goodness, speak English, Nathan. If you haven't yet to check that out, make sure that you do. Everything is always at rawhistory.net. You'll be able to check out past episodes of the live stream, as well as the latest episodes of the podcast. So, today's topic is drumroll. I'm going crazy. Like, literally. I know that sounds like 2020, but no, seriously. I think that 2020 has allowed me to get so much out. And I literally have spilled so much of my energy. And I say spilled, like, for real. I've poured so much of my past and my history that I kind of really, hey Maggie, I kind of, started to really, really kind of get down this dark spiral of thank you for the 50. Um, this dark spiral of really questioning, you know, what am I doing this for? Why? What's the purpose? Am I really helping that many people? Am I helping anybody? And every day that I either do a live stream or I upload a new podcast or I post something, I get a DM from somebody, it really reinstates the fact that I have a voice. You have a voice. And this episode is to really talk about how I've launched a new section of my merchandise called My Voice, My Story, My Raw History. And 100% of the proceeds, literally 100%, will be going to help research mental health issues. Now, as you all may or may not know, I myself suffer from anxiety, depression, ADD. I'm sure there are a million other things. I've had issues in the past with substance abuse, with alcohol, basically anything that I could mask what I was feeling, so I didn't have to use my voice. So with this launch, there's a sick backpack that I'm so hyped to get in the mail. But there's also face masks, there's a couple of shirts, there's an all over print hoodie. And again, 100% of the proceeds will be going to help research the mental health field. And I've yet to partner with what I feel is the right organization. So if any of you guys have any suggestions on any nonprofit organizations that, thank you, Maggie, any nonprofit organizations that really do help get that information out there to people, as far as resources for medical health, doctors, psychiatrists, medication, things of that nature. it's super important to know that you are not alone. And I think that there's so many beautiful people out there who have broken spirits and broken souls that are so afraid that if they speak their truth or if they speak their mind, that they're going to be judged or they're going to be, thank you for becoming a fan. They're afraid to let that vulnerability out. And with launching the My Voice, My Story, My Raw Histories brand, I guess, as part of Raw History, I really hope that that will allow people you just done a tell by Lady Gaga. Well, no Lady Gaga here. I am. We love her though. But yeah, I really, when I believe in something, I hope that you guys will, give it a chance, look into it. Of course, by no means am I saying go buy, everything that you see on my store or all the merch. I'm not saying that at all, but check it out, share it, especially with the way that 2020 is turning out and 2021 right around the corner. It's like people expect this miracle to happen in overnight, basically. All of a sudden we're in 2021 and here we are, and it's going to be the same thing. And I don't I don't want people's expectations to be so high for something that it's just not realistic. And I think that's why it's so important to continuously, every live stream, every podcast that I do going forward, to really focus on, things that matter, things that can make a difference, things that can help change a life. And it may sound dramatic and it may seem as though I'm, making something much bigger than not, but the person that I'm going to be talking about sent me a DM and they did ask that I, don't include any of their personal information. He or she specified that they were, they don't live in the United States. They have, their family is very close minded when it comes to a lot of things. And this person happens to be a part of the LGBT community and potentially looking into transitioning. And they were completely shut out from their family. And it was actually from last week's episode with Natanya, where she, said that, she wishes that she could do more for the LGBT community. As an ally, she said that she's done a lot of work for different organizations, and, a lot of her friends are gay, and she even joked around and said that, she feels like she may have been gay in a past life. And I think that it's my responsibility not only to help spread awareness for mental health and the stigma that it surrounds, but also spread awareness that these people that are in your life, whether they be family, whether they be associates, friends, neighbors, coworkers, whatever the case may be, if they don't believe that who you are as a person is good enough, then they're not good enough to be in your life. And that's okay. You need to realize sometimes that things are not always going to be okay. And I think if anything this year has taught me, at least, is that chances are a lot of times it's not going to be okay. But what is going to be okay is the future. You have to look forward to being able to tell your story. You guys have no idea the anxiety that I felt before the launch of this. Hey Luke, how are you? Before launching Raw History. Having all this built up, life that I haven't shared with people. And I said it on the last episode with Natanya. It's been a while also. I've been good. Awesome. It's good to hear that. I love to hear that people are doing well, especially now. Times are crazy. But I had said in the last episode that my entire life I felt like I was playing a role. for every person, every different person in my life, I had a different role in what I thought they expected of me or from me, whether that be changing the way I say certain things or not saying certain things at all, pretending to like things that I don't, or pretending not to like things that I do, choosing not to talk about things that I'm passionate about because they're not passionate about it. And it got me so effed up in the fact that I'm sitting here 30 plus years old, like, great, that person that you were becoming or changing for is no longer needed because that person or those people were temporary people. And I say that because people who are in your life, who should be in your life, will never ever ever make you question who you are, the things that you like. They don't, they may not like the same things that you like. You may not like the same things that you like or that they like. You get what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, changing who you are based on someone's opinion or based on someone's preconceived notions or thoughts on who you are is really your fault. And I had to take responsibility for that. And you have no idea the hence I reason community. I mean, everybody deals with things, differently. I choose to do the opposite. I choose to use my voice. I choose to share my experiences and share my failures as well as my accomplishments because, we tend to, in, the social media society that we live in, we look at these people, these influencers and these celebrities and, YouTube beauty gurus, and it's like they're posting literally their highlight reel. How often do you see, well, Jennifer Lopez is perfect no matter what way you look at it. Makeup, airbrush, no airbrush, like I'm just trying to, like, very rarely do you see people who have such a large following, not posting pictures or videos of them getting on a jet going somewhere or, talking about the things that they've gone through. One celebrity in mind that I can truly say has been an inspiration for a very long time for me would be Demi Lovato. When she was going through all of that with, relapsing and going to rehab, and her team saying that she went, checked into the hospital for dehydration. And these are not Google fact check. This is just based on what I remember. She combated it, and so no, I'm in rehab because I relapsed. She could have lost everything. She could have lost her endorsement deal. She could have lost her record deal. She could have lost any tour that she was about to, go on. She could have lost her career, but she chose to take the route of using her voice because it could help somebody. And that's what hey Jacob, how are you? Thank you for becoming a fan. I appreciate it. That's what I choose to live by. You never know who you could be influencing or touching or inspiring. And back to that message, they said that they had followed me for a while on my personal Instagram, but they, kind of were a ghost follower. They never really commented or, converse back and forth. I didn't recognize them until they started following my Raw History Instagram, where they had sent me the DM. And yes, welcome back, Jacob. Having somebody say that they were on the verge of committing suicide and they didn't, because at that moment they got a notification that I was going live. that's what keeps me going. That's what is, besides the fact that I have so much that I've experienced, good, bad, ugly, I keep going because there are people who need to hear it. And I don't have that large of a platform. I think I only have like 15,000 followers on Instagram. I think I only have like maybe if 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. I don't even have 500 fans on here. Like, I don't have that large of a following, but I have enough where I can grow. I can hopefully lead by example. I'm not the type of person to say, you know, I'm 100% sober. It's a lie. Do I drink? Absolutely. Am I an alcoholic? No, I don't personally think so. I don't need to, have a drink. Can I drink socially and not have it be a problem? Absolutely. Are there times in my life where it can and has gotten out of control, even recently? Yeah. And that's something that I'm going to live with for the rest of my life. I have to know that there's a time and a place. Some people can't have any time or place when it comes to alcohol. I for the most part, am able to separate the two and socially drink or whatever the case. But it's important to realize within yourself, and I think Natanya said it amazingly, is that the picture is so much bigger than just you. It's not just your life. It's not just your story. It's not just, you know, your body. It's so many people. Hey Chris, how are you? There's so many people who listen to you, and you might not even realize how influential your voice is. And I think that is the biggest message that I could share with you guys, is that no matter how big or small, no matter what it is that you've been through, whether it be, thank you for the likes, Jacob, I appreciate it. Um, it's just important for you to be able to have that comfortability within yourself. And it's hard. It's hard. It took me 30 plus years to be able to be a complete open book, to the point where if somebody were to ask me a question, I would answer it with 100% honesty. I don't want to have to. Welcome to yeah, for the host when you're sharing experience. Thank you, Donnie. Yes, and check out rawhistory.net. But it's having that person say that they were contemplating suicide. They had the whole plan. They've had it planned, and then they got that notification. They watched that live stream, and it's like, wow. When I started this documentary, or this docu-series, originally I had said, if I touch one person, if I can help one person not go through what I went through, or go about it in a different way, or you're sweet, thank you, Jacob. Maybe cope with it better, or learn how to open up about it to friends or family in ways that I didn't, so you don't have to go through the things that I've went through. I always said that would be enough. And I never ever imagined that Raw History, the podcast, would be available on literally, as of today, all but 2 streaming platforms, and those 2 are on the way. The last 2 are Pandora and Sirius Radio. So, I mean, I'm on Apple, I'm on Google, I'm on Spotify, iHeartRadio, so many platforms, including here. And to be able to tell you guys my story and have you guys tell me yours is the most humbling and amazing feeling, because there's so many times when I just wish that I had that person not necessarily to talk to one on one, but even just to listen to. And one of my good friends told me, people are more likely to tune in or listen to someone who's not a celebrity, who doesn't have a huge following. Um, you know, and oh, we got a guest. We got a Donnie.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No, if I may interrupt for a sec, because this is quite important for me to say, and it is quite serious. And I would like to say I've start watching it bit by bit. I'm not done, but my first take on it is I would like to comment and applaud you that what you have shared with not only yourself because you're also learning from the experience,
Absolutely.
but also sharing it with others to take note of it and to learn from it as well in order to cope with. It doesn't have to be things we similarly experience, but also
Right.
using it in a way to cope with other things in life. That you're never alone. There is always someone somewhere that is willing to listen, to talk to you, and may even change your perspective on the matter. And I would say, as someone who did psychology, majored in social psychology, it is quite you give me a new mean you gave a new meaning to speaking about what you are going through, you're going through. I don't know in which time frame you are now, but yes, and the last thing you stated, or one of the things you stated, people only think that when you're influential, it means you have a mass following, you're hella famous and things like that. No, to change the world, especially this world we live in, the in different world, you have to be different, and you have proven yourself to be quite different by taking it step by step and facing the problem head on. So I would like to
Absolutely.
say that's why I hella like you, and I missed you.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yes,
Especially coming from, you've been an original for quite a while. You've been following this journey, and you've experienced the ups and the downs and the crazy times, the times when I was so excited and then got so disappointed, and wait, I almost read on my life because I was going through a hard time in life, but I wish I had help from my family. Exactly, and it's so easy to, like, when you're in that moment of thinking like, okay, nobody cares, I have nobody, I've let myself down. Like, that's the thing that most people forget, is that you're focused on you, which is, that's human nature, and you tend to forget that there are so many people who look up to you, or wish that they could have what you have. There's always somebody much worse off. Trust and believe, and I tell you
that's
that.
true. That's true. Can I also share some personal stuff with you?
Of course,
The
that's what we're
18th
here for.
the 18th of December was my birthday, but a week prior to that, I was given something that I would never forget, and that's one of my beloved one. Also, then how do I say this? Took the life of herself, and she was burned on my birthday. It wasn't easy for me to do so, and yes, and you can say so much, and but the person, to be honest, I didn't know at first what to do, what to think, but later reality hit me in the face by saying it will be hard for you. You have to take the time to process it, but it doesn't mean the end of the road. There are still people for you who still care, hella care about you. So will you be sad? Yes. Will it be for a long time? Yes, but will you keep on being in that same mindset? No, because life goes on, and we at times we focus more on the physical presence of
Right.
someone, and we forget those emotional experience, those happy moments that if we wait, my English is if we cherish
I get
them,
no, I get what
we
you're saying.
don't forget about the person. They are a living memory. We never lose the person.
Absolutely. The main thing that people really tend to forget is that, you know, things are disposable. We as humans, as awful as that sounds, there will never be another me, there'll never be another you, but there will be another person.
Yes.
And that's life. But there will never be another person who influenced or changed or affected somebody's life the way that you have. And it could be a simple hello on the street to somebody that you never even met before. They could be having a horrible day, and you just wave and smile, with our mask on because that's life. Um, but you really have that power to instill, like, literally give your soul and your being, your energy never dies. So, when that time comes for me or for anybody, you know like you said, those memories are what keep people going. That's the thing that keeps me going with the loved ones that I've lost, and I've lost far too many this year. um, it's I couldn't have said it any better.
No, but thank you for another reminder of let's at least try to live among us peacefully. Let's try. It won't be always. It won't always be possible to do so, but at least if we try, we can make a difference, an impact. Because we don't know how long we have with one another. So why not, when we have the time to do so, make the best out of it?
The time is now. I mean,
Yes,
literally an hour from now is not promised to
yes,
anybody. A
yes.
minute
Even
from
a
now.
second from now isn't promised.
Exactly.
Yes. So
Exactly.
I would like to take the chance, the time, the moment, and make the effort to say, you are loved. Know that you're loved. You will never be alone. Because in mind, in heart, in thoughts, in prayers, you always have a warm and comfy place. And I love you.
Absolutely.
And I love you.
Absolutely. And you've been here for, like I said, for as long as I can remember. I've always tried to keep this stream fun and active, and really make it a family. As far as I know you guys, like, I know you by name. I communicate with you outside of you now, in YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and all the social media outlets. Not everybody, it's hard to keep up with everybody, but um, I try to make this, especially now with this being a part of the Raw History series, just that space where people can come to and just be who they are, tell their story. Having, I'm not sure if you saw last week's episode, but having Natanya Ross on here, the actress, um, telling her story of everything that she's gone through with mental health and addiction, and being so open and fluid about it. I think that it inspired me even more so, because here I am speaking to a 90s icon that almost every person who grew up in the 90s has seen Boy Meets World or Alex Mack or 90210 or ER or Step by Step. Like, they know who she is. They may not recognize the name, but if they saw a picture, they would absolutely know who it was. And to have that, the opportunity to have her on the show, like she was on here, like to have her on live, as well as for an episode of the podcast, like it's inspiring to know that there are people who are willing to share their side, or their story, because there's, like, again, there are so many people who are terrified to, yes, the song, yes, this isn't yet. Wake up, cause here I come. Yeah, but no, like, it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to be amazing. It's okay to, um, just be there in the moment. And that's the most important thing that I think I've learned is that you just have to be in the moment. You have to take it for what it's worth, whether it be, something horrible happening. Everything in life is temporary. It's horrible to think that way, but it's true. Everything in life is temporary. Pain is temporary. Um, Loss is temporary. I mean, that feeling will always be there, but it's not always going to be as strong.
That's true.
The one
That's
thing that is always consistent and needs to stay consistent is how honest and open you are with yourself. I'm not telling everyone to do what I'm doing and open up your whole life and, start a podcast or a documentary or whatever the case may be. Um, but I do encourage you to accept who it is that you are. And if you don't know who you are, like I said, it took me. I was playing a role for every aspect of my life, every person, every outlet. You know, my friends will be like, I'll watch older YouTube videos that you posted or Instagram posts, and it's like, that's not Nathan. That like, it's a version of Nathan, but that's not Nathan. And then to have them watch the live streams and have them listen to the podcast and have them say, that's Nathan. That is who he is. And it took me, you know, all of the tragedies and success that I've experienced in life to get to have this point, to be at this point, I should say, of being able to hopefully inspire other people to really. I mean, what else do we have to do? Sit in the house, like we're quarantined for real. Like let's take this time to reflect and allow ourselves to be true to ourselves, so that way we can get to that point where we can use our voice, if we choose, to help other people, to inspire other people. If anything, inspire yourself, because your biggest competition is that person that you look at in the mirror every morning when you brush your teeth. Your biggest competition every single day when you
yes,
are, not wanting to wake up for work or not wanting to do this or do that. You're your biggest threat, your biggest enemy, your biggest supporter, like number one fan, like you're everything. And if
yes,
you aren't aware of that, if you're not, you know, willing to accept the fact that if you choose to focus on the fact that you're not where you want to be, you're not where your peers are. There are people my age who are married, have houses and children, and I'm like, I don't, but that doesn't mean that I'm any less.
that's true. That's true.
You
That's
can't compare yourself to somebody else because you're not them. Just like they can't
that's
compare themselves to you because
that's true.
they're not you.
That's true. And in general, we have the tendency as humans to quantify everything we do, because and that's against the purpose of life. We need to qualify it, meaning bring quality in what we do. And less or more doesn't mean it is not of quality.
Right.
Yes, people do think when they can see it, touch it, oh, then it is worth it. No, not at
And
all.
the world that we live in. It's kind of unfortunate that people are held to the standards of perfection. We have people
Yes,
like the Kardashians. We have people like um, the Cardis and the Nickies, and and that's them, and I applaud them because they're living their best lives. But are they?
or the yes. And Jacob also mentioned fake it until you make it. That even is not everlasting, because I can name a lot of very famous people who made it and still were not happy with themselves while living the life we as third party would wanna have.
Some of you know some of the people that that I, famous wise, celebrity wise, that I like. Some of them are, some of, have gone through the darkest of times at the peak of their fame, and
Yes.
now it's they're just kind of like, okay, well, how do I combat the fact that I was at my peak, or what I thought was my peak, and now I have no work, whether it be an actress or a singer or whatever the case, film director, it doesn't matter, carpenter, like it doesn't matter the profession, but everyone's thinking, okay, I'm at my peak, I've reached it, I'm at my top, I'm on my game, I've got this, I've got everything. Hey, um, Pappity Aguzula, hey, do you know who Hugh Prather is? I do not. Um, but the thing that I was like with, saying like I've reached my peak, or whatever the case may be, you don't have a peak. That's what I think that really, I mean, yes, you, in reality, yes, with time wise, like, whatever, but there's always ways to improve, um, from the day before. There's always ways to do more. There's always ways to top that thing that you thought you could never top, but there's also going to be times when you will not top it. You won't be able to come close to the success or the response, and you know being able to reach people the way that I am. Like, I understand that this is not a forever thing. Like, this opportunity for the podcast and everything is only a 1 year contract, and after that it's like, well, where do I go from there? Is this the peak? And then that's where everything starts questioning. Like, no, live for right now. Right now I'm talking to you guys. Right now I am telling you things that I've gone through, things that I've experienced, you know. And I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm gonna come in here and all it's gonna be like, oh, he suffers from depression. No. Like, let me tell you about when I lived in Florida and it was insane, and I was like, like going from my gate, like the community that I lived in, to like breaking into the next one, and like jumping into their pool when it was closed, and like just like funny things that I've gone through in life, but things that have made me who I am. Had those things not happened, I wouldn't be who I guess basically everything happens for a reason. And I know a lot of people, myself included, struggle with trying to figure out what that reason is. And I think a lot of my anxiety, and a lot of people that have been messaging me and sending me voice messages, um, that's where it all lies, is the stuck in your head, type of, how am I going to do this, or why did I do that, or I shouldn't have done that. Well, you did. Whether it was good or bad, you did. And the only thing that you can do is learn, grow, or stay the same. And it's neither way is right or wrong. It's your life, however you choose to do it. Like, no matter what we talk about, we're talking about ourselves. Exactly. Since the desire to do anything is to actually do it. See, I mean, you guys are. I hope that you guys understand that. It seems as though I do these streams when I'm promoting something, but I do have a schedule that I have. 3 days here, 3 days on the podcast. Usually, what I like to do is kind of the following day after the podcast, just talk about it with you guys, try to build that audience across multiple platforms. And I realize that it's going to take a while before that happens. So, a lot of these beginning, these episodes here, although they are featured on, my website, it's really to get a better feel for who my audience is, get a better feel for what it is that you guys are going through, because I can only talk about myself for so long. Like, it's a long talk. It would be a long series, but also I you guys could be going through something that I have not experienced, and that in itself is an inspiration to me, because what if I were to go through that? What if I, out of nowhere, developed some horrible, incurable disease, or anything, and someone else who could be watching it could have lived through that, experienced it, made it through, got a T-shirt, and is now talking about it. So it's not just about me. It's not just about my, my projects that I'm working on. It's about everybody. I have to go right now. Are you going live tomorrow? Tomorrow, no. Tomorrow is the podcast. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are the live stream, and then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday is the podcast. So just go to rawhistory.net. All of the information is there. You can also check out the My Voice, My Story, My Raw History line, which 100% of the proceeds will be going to help research mental health and the stigma that is surrounded, and make sure that there are people, especially younger people, who are very influenced by what they see and hear, are provided with the right group of people, the right knowledge, the right support system, because you're only as strong as the weakest person behind you. And trust me, I've been through a lot of things where I've had a lot of people in high places that don't want the best for me, or didn't want the best, I should say, because they're no longer a part of my life. They did not want the best for me. So to be able to, even if it's me starting my own non-charitable, nonprofit organization where I can do something like that, like, these are all things that are stemming from you guys. You guys inspire me to inspire other people. And I definitely hope that you guys are here for the journey. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Knock on wood. Um, Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate. I appreciate you very much. You're still connected. I don't know.
Yes, thank you for having me. I
Oh,
need
I'm like, I don't know if you're still.
yes, I need to. No, I was listening to you, and I need to do something. But always nice to see your smile. You always it brightens up our days without you even knowing it, and to be in your presence is a blessing itself. So, yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I wasn't gonna cry today. No, I'm just kidding. You
No, I made you cry one time, and then
multiple
let's keep it.
times.
No.
Yes.
One time I only remembered one time. So let's keep it at that the one time, and let's not make it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, they were happy tears. They were happy tears.
Yes. Tears of relief, joy, happiness, and not tears of hurt.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Much love. Take care.
You as well. Stay safe.
You too.
I will try. I will try.
And one of these days, I will slide in those DMs one more time. Just
Slide
saying,
in the
"Oop."
DM. Slide in the DM. Hello, hello. Pat, how are you? I'm just gonna abbreviate the names because I'm really, really bad at, name pronunciation. I try to do it all day with work, and it ain't it, sis. But like I was saying, and thank you, Donnie, so incredibly much for um, always being that extra push. That everybody needs that. Um, there's been times when I'm recently where I'm surrounded by my best friends. I'm surrounded by you guys. I'm I'm surrounded by, hey Danny, how are you? I'm surrounded by these people that I love and I know love me, but I feel so alone at times. And it's because I feel like society always has a way of making you feel like you're not good enough. I'm doing well, thank you, Danny. How are you? Um, and as much as I say it, sometimes it cuts the deepest when it comes from somebody that means the most. And recently, there's been some family drama on my side that really got me down, um, and it stems again down to mental health and what I deal with on a daily. And I'll admit to you guys, although I'm keeping a schedule and I'm doing, exactly what I'm supposed to do as far as, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing the live stream, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, doing the podcast. But there's going to be times where I'm not, ooh, happy Nathan, because that's not the reality of it. And I have noticed that there have been times, today included, actually, that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get on here. I didn't want to, I just wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't feeling like anything that I had to say would be understood or relatable, because I feel like it has been a little redundant with me, saying subscribe and make sure you listen to my podcast and check out my merchandise for, this and X, Y, and Z. And I'll be live at this time. And I have an interview with, this person. And, it becomes like a business. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. At times it feels like it's turning into a business, and by no means do I ever want that to. Thank you for becoming a fan, Danny. I don't ever want that to come across as how I am or who I am. This is not a job for me. I'm not making money off of, doing these streams or having a podcast or, the merchandise. Like I said, anything that's bought off of my store at rawhistory.net, it's going to help do things that I can't. Help organizations that have the resources to touch more people. So with my help, your help, ultimately, we're helping a bigger picture. And I think that the stigma that surrounds mental health is improving. I think that it is getting better. And I think that more people are, especially with 2020 and the things that people are going through, I think that more people are understanding that choose to be depressed. No one would choose to have anxiety. No one would ever choose to have a mental illness. And it's not something to joke about, but it's also not something to stay quiet about. And that's where my voice, my story, my history comes in, because so many years I was afraid to tell my story of when I was molested and raped for years. My drug addiction in the past, my alcoholism in the past, my failed relationships, really letting family members down, letting myself down, hurting people that mean so much to me, and doing so very unintentionally. But once it was made aware that I was doing it, I still continue to do it. So it's times like that when I think back and I'm like, okay, there's a bigger picture, there's a reason, there's a purpose, and I'm slowly finding it. And I'm finding it kind of on a journey with you guys. It's a process that is never going to be over. It's something that you live it and breathe daily. It's something that you have to constantly, consistently and constantly work on to become the best version of yourself, because every day you're presented with new challenges, new advantages and disadvantages and obstacles that you have to overcome. And I think that with this platform and being able to, share my stories, I really do. I hope and I hope from the bottom of my heart that at the very least, if not one person listens to my podcast, if one more person ever joins a live stream, it's that I'm able to influence those who have already been a part of this journey to be able to accept the fact that they are who they are. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter if people think that you're strange, or, it only matters if you allow it to get to you. If what they're saying hurts you, chances are either they mean a lot to you and their opinion matters, or they you put them above yourself. Those are the two spectrums. Either you care so much about that person that what they feel about you is hurtful, or you care more about that person than you care about yourself. Because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, nobody can tell my story better than I can tell my story. People can tell segments of my story, people who have been a part of that story, but they can't tell the story. Just like nobody can tell your story, what you've been through. Now again, I'm not saying, all bad. There's been so many. I mean, I've accomplished and set out to do so much in my life, and I've done a lot of them. Like my bucket list is being checked off, and that comes with determination, that comes with dedication, that comes with passion, believing in yourself. And trust me, there are days where that all of those are a zero. Like I'm like as low as you could possibly get, laying on the floor like, no, I can't anymore. But I realized that I started this platform to help people who have gone through anything in life, that have been afraid to discuss it with people, family, friends, strangers. And I encourage you guys to, tune into the podcast. Check out rawhistory.net. Join me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as on any platform of, where podcasts are. There'll be new episodes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And check out the links that are in the podcast. There's a link where you can send me a direct audio message. You can let me know if you want it played on the podcast episode, or if you want me to just have it for me. I checked earlier and I had almost 300, literally almost 300 messages. And I think that one of the episodes coming up, I'm going to try to dedicate just to the messages that, you guys have sent me. Because, it's important to hear other people's story. It's important to be able to allow other people to share their story, especially when they feel like they don't have that. And I hope that I'm able to provide that platform for you guys. I hope you continue to support me and my projects. Will continue to put my all into. And on that note, I'm gonna end the live stream here. But please know that I will be back on here on Wednesday, and you can check out a new episode of Raw History, the podcast. I uploaded it a day early, so it's available now. If you check it out, again, rawhistory.net, all the information that you will need is there. And I definitely encourage you to check out the My Voice, My Story, My History collection. If you like, send me a message on Instagram. My name there is the same as it is here. Everything is at Nathan Heisted. If you're interested, again, 100% of the proceeds are going to help educate and spread awareness for mental health and the stigma that surrounds it. Getting emotional, but if you would like, I know times are tough and money is tough for people right now. If you would like one of the items to help share the movement of using your voice, that it's okay to have a story, it's okay to tell it, and damn it, tell it. Like, please, unapologetically tell your story. I don't care if it upsets people. I mean, within reason. But yeah, send me a message and I'll give you a discount code for a free item. And that's just my way of, helping you help someone else. But until next Wednesday, well, this Wednesday coming up, I thank you guys for joining. I thank you guys for listening. And as always, I thank you for sharing your voice, your story, your raw history. I love you guys. Make sure you check out rawhistory.net, and I will see you soon.